This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome to a brand new episode of the Post Game. I am your host, Davion, and I'm joined by And today, actually, we have a full house. Everybody's back from vacation or camp or from Freddie the dead, But yeah, we got my boy Matt back here.
What up?
We got my boy Freddie back here.
What's good?
We got Elijah bringing it back.
Yo.
And Oronde sitting in the cut, of course.
What up?
Hey, man. How we doing, y'all?
Good. I just got food, so I'm happy.
Huh?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Oronde, we doing it today? Tired?
We're doing what?
Are you tired today?
Oh, of course I'm tired. I just chose to be happy about food.
Attaboy. See? Good. At least you got food, right? Yeah, today we'll be talking about arguably, I don't know who's going to argue, but the best division in football, the AFC West. I'll set the floor and then we can just start talking about it. But we'll, rank your division. Who's gonna win it, and who's gonna lose it, and what you think's gonna. We'll not walk about that, but rank. Everybody, give me a ranking of what's gonna happen.
I'll go. Give me Chargers winning the division.
I agree.
Broncos in second. Chiefs third. Raiders fourth.
Okay.
I'll go second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I got Chargers first, winning it. Second, Chiefs. Third, Raiders, and then Broncos fourth.
Broncos fourth. Okay.
I'll go.
Broncos fourth.
So Chargers first. Chiefs second. Broncos third. Raiders fourth.
Let me get Chargers first, Raiders second, Chiefs third, Broncos fourth. Okay. I'm gonna be different.
We're all different right now.
We are all.
Well, everyone's number one was the Chargers.
That's true.
Okay, who's your number one?
My number one is going to be Kansas City. So I got Kansas City number one, the Chargers number two, the Broncos number three, and the Raiders number four.
So, saying this, okay. So we're gonna pounce on Freddie first. So Freddie, even with the Chiefs losing Tyreek Hill, you think they are still going to be the number one in the division?
Well, I believe that you always have a chance when you have, Andy Reid as your head coach and Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. So I feel like they'll be able to get something going, even though Tyreek Hill is a massive loss, but they have some pretty good key, what's it called? They picked up some good pieces. Not saying of course, they got Juju Smith, but not saying he's a Tyreek Hill, but that's a start. And then they got, they drafted Sky Moore, and then they signed Scantlin as well. So I feel like they have a lot of other pieces they replaced Tyreek Hill with well.
So for everybody, this is a question for everybody. Why do we think the Raiders is going to be the worst team in this division instead of 3, 2, or 1?
I'll just say this. I don't even think the Raiders are going to be bad.
I agree.
I feel like everyone in this division is going to be a game or two off from each other.
Yeah.
So, realistically, this could happen. I don't think it will. All four of those teams could make the playoffs.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But it probably won't happen. Most likely, if something like that would happen, it would be the top three, though.
Yeah. How do we feel about? No, you got something else. I'm gonna say it's on the same length, but how do we feel about Josh McDaniels?
He's
not a good head coach, but I feel like it's
Right.
going to be talent carrying said head coach
Okay.
until he figures his stuff out.
But the reason I have the Raiders at 4 is because, to me, at the most important positions to succeed, they lack in all of them. They have in the division, they have the worst head coach, They have the worst quarterback in the division. They have the worst defense. Well, between them and the Chiefs. So to me, that's why I feel like they're but they're not going to be terrible. But it's just the division that they're stuck in.
I agree.
I think too. I think the Raiders will pull an upset on their expectations from around the league.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I think I agree with that statement, actually. I feel like the Raiders, like, every once in a while, they'll give you 1 or 2 or 3 games that they weren't supposed to win, but they would win them. Like, it might be a Kansas City at home one night, or it might be I think there will be a lot of upsets in this division that are going to surprise a lot of people. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, this division is going to be one of the funnest to watch. Tacking on to another team in this division, like the Denver Broncos added Russell Wilson. He is a star quarterback in this league. He's top 10, I think, I would say. Top 10, right?
Top 5,
Top 5?
arguably. These past couple years, not really, but
Granted, that's the team.
he can definitely, like, he finally. I'm not so, like, with Seattle. Obviously, he had like 2 really good receivers,
Yeah.
but his O-line was terrible. Now you give him a young rookie, or not rookie, just a young running back, a solid O-line, and a very, very young core around him. Like, I think he'll be better off in Denver than Seattle right now. So
I agree. I think just like what you just said, just that change, like for a star quarterback like he is, all he needs is a functioning front office. Granted, the Broncos isn't really one, but a functioning front office, a like rebuilding team that the Broncos is, because they have been rebuilding over the past since Peyton left, pretty much. Peyton Manning left. So I mean, they just needed a quarterback. Last year, all they needed was a quarterback, and now I think he has potential to make them really good. I do think it won't be this season that they show up really well, but I think it'll be next season that they really put on. But because I really think like the Broncos, I mean, because they haven't really glued much together yet, I think they're still a year or 2 off.
yeah.
And so I could see them being 4th in that division as well. And I could see just the Chiefs and the Chargers making the playoffs. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
I can agree with that. Like, especially like, but the only thing, like, here's my problem with the Chargers. Like, yeah, they have a lot of talent, but it's just a lot of new pieces together. And it's hard for teams to, put a whole bunch of new pieces together and become be able to come in and win some games.
The Rams?
So I mean, yeah, the Rams, but like but they've had for like their base pieces, they had those guys for a few years. They just added a couple guys throughout the season. So I just got to see how that works.
Also, for the record, Pro Football Focus has the Chargers as the 3rd best team on paper.
That's fair. I think it all just comes down to injuries.
Yeah.
Because they have such a dominant defense, but those guys are very injury prone. So if you manage to keep Khalil Mack and Bosa and James and JC all healthy, no question they're going to be a top defense. And I agree with Freddie. They did add a lot of new pieces, and I think they will have a very slow start. But I don't think their schedule is that difficult in the beginning. So I feel like they'll be fine. They literally play 2 division games, which could be tough. Jaguars, Texans, Cleveland, depending on the Watson situation. And then Denver, Seattle. So, those are easily winnable games, except for maybe 2 are going to be challenging. So, we'll just see. I think it'll be interesting, though.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll just to see if they all that talent meshes together. But I hope so. That would be very exciting seeing that defense be exceed expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Chargers. I mean, I fell in love with what's my guy's name? Justin Herbert. 2 years ago. And I think his progression will be like his progression over from the first year to last year was an uptick. I think his progression from last year to this year will be a big uptick as well and put him in the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. But here's I think like y'all just said, I think for every team in the NFL, there's always a slow start. It's never we're gonna be winning by 30 each game. That never happens. And especially for those guys who have big names and they have like big and high expectations, like it's just gonna be a slower start to them. But I think, listening to that, like I could definitely see them being worse than the Chiefs and moving down to that second place in that division, because the Chiefs, they have an establishment. They have experience. They know what they need to do, how to do it every single season. Granted, he lost Tyreek Hill, and that's a big blow to them. It definitely is a big blow. But
It's not that huge of a blow because they did well in the draft.
Huh?
It's not that huge of a blow since they did well in the draft.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, of course. But I mean, Tyreek Hill. I mean, let's be real. Draft or Tyreek Hill, you're gonna choose Tyreek Hill 9 out of 10 of those times.
Tyreek Hill is like one of the most versatile receivers we've ever seen.
He is a safety net for God, to be honest.
So I don't think they'll be bad, but that's going to make Travis Kelce's job way harder because he's going to be double teamed the whole time. And unless Juju makes a step up.
I would say it depends on if the others start helping.
Exactly. But like with Tyreek, you could literally put him anywhere and he'll just take off. It was almost near impossible to guard him. So when you lose a threat like that, I think that's going to be a great challenge to see how they pull that off. But I'm excited. I think the Chiefs will be good still. Mm-hmm. Mahomes will have a down year, definitely. I'm not saying he's like had a down year recently, but like he's always been good. But man, I don't know. We will just see how that offense runs. I think that'll be fun.
Yeah,
it'll definitely be interesting.
Go ahead.
I was just saying it'll just definitely be interesting to see how those pieces work together.
Yeah, see, like I'm gonna say each team, and then I want to say like 2 words about, well, not 2, but a couple words about each team. Broncos, they don't have much chemistry yet, so that's their problem. I mean, like that's gonna be their downfall, and they're young. They are very young. Chiefs, Tyreek Hill's gone. That's a question. Like, what's going to happen? That's their biggest question mark. How will that offense run now? And I think
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is Sky Moore a speedy receiver? I don't really know.
He's pretty shifty.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be honest, where do you play?
He's quick.
Receiver. Yeah.
But PFF has the Chiefs at ranked 11th, or no, 9th, sorry, on their roster rankings. And then the Broncos are at 14.
He had a 4.41 40. Eesh.
It's pretty good.
He's moving.
Yeah, he's pretty fast.
What are the Oronde, what are the Raiders at for overall roster?
If I had to guess, I would say they're right in between those.
I'm still scrolling.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Oh.
No way.
It has to be top 20.
Oh, wow. Well, I feel like it's because their offensive line's a huge question mark.
But realistically, they probably have the best playmakers in the division. That's my opinion.
They have the best receivers in.
They are ranked 21st, believe it or not.
Wow.
That's interesting. I think
their biggest strength is their passing attack with Devontae Adams and Darren Waller and Hunter Renfrow. But their biggest weakness for PFF is they don't have much protection. It is their own line.
That's fair.
They have the most pressures than any other guard and tackle duo in the NFL last season at 124.
Worse than the Falcons?
That's not winning you games.
Worse than the Falcons?
Worse than the Panthers?
Yep, worse than the Falcons and Panthers.
Wow.
There's no way.
That's tragic.
How is Derek Carr still alive?
because they usually run quick schemes. That's why they had so much success last season, and it was their downfall against the Bengals.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
So
but
that makes sense.
But I think the Raiders as we were just talking about, their offensive line is questionable, but they have three of the biggest threats at receiver and tight end in the league, and Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, and now arguably the best receiver in the league. What's the guy's name? Devontae Adams.
Adams.
Yeah, I'm sure you know. But no, but yeah, the Chargers they're still they're like a young team, but like injury prone is their biggest problem, and so hopefully that they can really fix that this offseason. And
I think injuries is the Chargers' second biggest issue. The
first?
Biggest issue last season was Staley's decision making.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that, or just their defense in general was like.
Well, the defense did have lapses of suckiness, like the 45 goose egg against the Patriots, but like they still had their showings of their prowess, but Staley just cannot make the right call for the life of them.
Well, hopefully he gets over the hump in his second year and becomes a very good young-minded coach.
Yeah, and it's funny that we're well, I'm not gonna bring that up. I was gonna talk about like decision making when it comes to like in those type positions and when it comes to the Ravens, because like they lost 2 games trying to go for it on like 2-point conversion instead of going overtime. Granted, I saw something where it was like both of those decisions were made by quarterbacks. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. But this division is gonna be so scary. Who are they? What division are they playing this year? Like, what's their schedule?
Let me look.
I want to say they play the NFC South.
No, they don't play us. They play the
NFC. Okay, they play the NFC West. That's a very good division.
No, they don't.
And then they play
the
AFC. Is it AFC South?
What am I looking at? I'm looking at the wrong thing.
AFC South, Miami. Oh wait, no, sorry. Tennessee, Indianapolis. What the?
So they play
Houston.
Ooh.
Yeah, I see the schedule breakdowns. AFC West, AFC South. Their interconference is NFC West, and their 17th game is NFC South.
Yeah, they play.
Yeah, so
listen to their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games. The Broncos' last 6 games are the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Chiefs again, and then the Chargers on week 18. So they better get off to a hot start, because if not, they're going to lose a lot.
That's brutal, especially the back end of the season. That's when you need to win with the bulk of your games.
Chargers have a really tough second half of the schedule too.
Yeesh.
It's from week 10. It's San Fran, Kansas City, Arizona, Vegas, Miami, Tennessee, Colts, Rams, Broncos.
Only like 2 of those teams weren't playoff teams last season.
Exactly.
Which is crazy.
I mean, but they got a whole brand new Dolphins team they're gonna have to play against.
That's true. So
they'll be Atlanta week 9, but other than that, they got a brand new Dolphins team they have to play.
Oh my gosh.
Beyond that, it's a toss-up.
Sheesh. And then what's the other team in this division? The Chiefs. Chiefs second half is.
Chiefs have a really tough schedule.
Week 9. After their bye week, they have Titans, Jacksonville, which they better be a win. Chargers, Rams, Bengals, Broncos, Houston, which they better be a win. Seattle, which better be a win. So that's 2 weeks where you don't turn your brain off, but you can take it easy a little bit. Then you have Broncos and the Raiders for the final.
That division just has a very rough stretch.
On strength of schedule, let me look at this. Strength of schedule.
Can we look up strength of schedule for those teams?
It has to be easily. They always have to be. They have to be like top.
It's got to be. Hold on.
Top 20. Oh wow. So Wait, what? So they have the Giants at the hardest, actually. Am I reading this right? I'm reading this right.
No, wait, that's not right.
It's upside
The
down.
Giants.
NFL
no,
strength
the
of schedule
Chiefs.
ranked by team. The Chiefs have the hardest schedule.
Chiefs, and then Rams, and then the Raiders, then the Steelers, Texans, Jets, Bengals, Patriots in the top 10.
Broncos are in the mid.
I think I got the wrong one. It says Rams. Oh, I'm looking at win percentage, not just strength.
Saints are projected to
Vegas
only have 8 wins
forecast.
this year, so that's a fun thing.
Y'all are 11th on the roster strength.
Okay. Wait, so out of this division, it looks like Denver has the somewhat easiest schedule, but it's like a middle ground schedule. It's not easy and it's not hard.
Yeah.
And then it goes Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs.
It's gonna be a very interesting season. Well, season for them for sure because of that schedule. But I mean, talking back to these teams in this division, what are some ways that each of these teams can beat the curve? Like we just said all their flaws, but what are some ways that they can be better and surprise a lot of people this season? Starting off with the Raiders.
Yeah, I would have to say if their coaching can exceed.
I'm gonna say the same thing.
That's their biggest one.
And and then of course Devontae has a top receiver in the league. If we can see the same production we've seen from Green Bay, of course, then if the defense is a top 10 defense, that can boost them up in being a potential playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else on the Raiders?
I was going to say with the Raiders, going back to their defense, I mean, they did add Chandler Jones. So him and Max Crosby are going to be very, very interesting to watch. And I agree with Freddie. I think coaching is going to be the most important thing for their season. Maybe consistency. I just feel like they have one good game and then they just fall off, and then it's like a complete disaster the next. So
I can agree with that, especially this past season. The Raiders, they just every other week you didn't know what kind of Raiders you can get.
Exactly. So
but also another thing is their offensive line play. Like we hinted on earlier, if they can perform a lot better than last season, then they'll have a shot.
I agree.
Now, moving on. So the Broncos. What about the Broncos? What do we feel they need to do to achieve greatness this season?
Leadership is going to be the number one.
Okay, I think Russell's that guy. So I think
that's what I'm saying. It's the team is Russ's now. Period.
Oh yeah, agreed.
So he's been a leader in Seattle. He's been a great leader. They've always been a decent team. So again, he just needs to steer those young guys in the right direction. I think roster-wise, they are a solid team. They're not they're not the worst. They're not the best. They're pretty average.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just all on Russ, how he performs. If he's going to be worse or better, but I think he'll have a big leap this year compared to the last couple of years in Seattle. So
I can agree with that. I think he'll definitely cement himself back as a top 5 quarterback this upcoming season. He's had something he hasn't had in a long time, an actual decent offensive line and a possibly consistent run game for him. And that's going to be dangerous for Russell Wilson to have. And I think they will definitely push for a playoff spot. Even though we can say that for all 4 of these teams, but I think they're a team you just can't forget about. And also the defense is young and pretty good as well itself.
I agree.
Yeah, listen, it's Russell's teams now, and I think he has the ability to lead them to success, and he also has the ability to lead them to distress. Let's be honest. Like I do think he's such a great quarterback, and he's such a great guy that they will follow him just like Joe Burrow gets followed in Denver. So I mean, we'll see. Last year they were 7-10. So I think they definitely will double. I mean, like at least add 2 wins to that. But just a matter of time to see what happens there. What about the Chiefs? What do they need to do to establish something good?
Revamp the front five on their defense.
Yeah.
I think just we'll see what happens with the absence of Tyreek. That's it. I think they're going to be a solid team, but without him, a lot of questions.
If Marquez and Juju can produce, they should be all right.
I agree.
But like I said earlier, if you have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, you always have a chance.
And they did beef up their O-line, I believe, this year. Or was that last year?
It was also last year than this year.
I do think okay. I
year?
think they need to have a solid run game this year too, because Clyde was just very hit or miss.
It'll definitely take a lot of pressure off of the missing void of having Tyreek.
Yeah. So I feel like now with this offense, it needs to have a much stronger run attack instead of just relying on Tyreek and Travis. So
if they can adapt the play action pass more, it should be more fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they need to be more I wouldn't say I involvement with everyone instead of just Tyreek and Travis. I think they really need to open up that playbook because let's be real, Andy Reid he can be one-sided and stay with the guys that he knows are going to make plays, but at the same time if in times where some of these guys either go down, which I mean I hope it doesn't happen, but it just will, that just happens. They need to be able to open up that playbook and get some of these newer guys involved and get some new schemes going. And if they can do that, and that defense, that secondary can be better, and then because they lost Honey Badger this year.
That's true.
Right.
So I mean, if that secondary can stay decent.
Then again, he doesn't really do much but complain about interceptions.
I understand that, but he's still a defensive leader. That now the Saints have. So I'm not mad. But if they can do that and then get that offensive line to stay together, they'll be fine. I think Kansas City can make a nice push in the playoffs. Super Bowl, I don't know, but playoffs, yes.
Did the Chiefs add anyone significant on their defense?
They added that guy from Houston. That corner.
Right. Justin Reed.
Eric. Yeah, Justin Reed. Okay, that's a good pickup.
Yeah.
They added and they got Lonnie Johnson Jr., I believe. He was a defensive back from the Texans as well.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, I think.
And then they drafted the DN as well. So they made some key moves.
They could be all right. I think they're a lot younger now. Besides their front four or their front seven, but I feel like their secondary is pretty young now, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So, and lastly, let's talk about the Chargers. What do they need to do to go from 9-8 to 13-3 or 4?
Close out games.
Stay healthy.
Coaching.
Coaching's big. That's the one.
Coaching's probably the biggest, and then I would say injuries is second.
Yeah, but granted, they can't really control injuries.
Right.
I really realistically, I don't see a blank spot in this team. Maybe their linebacking core, but that's really it.
Yeah.
Not even. I mean, they have
not even. Yeah.
Solid O-line, great quarterback, great receiving core, a solid running back. Tight ends, a hit or miss, doesn't really matter. And then just their defensive weapons. I mean, their secondary is so young now. and then
Now you got
hopefully
Khalil Mack
They
and
got
Jody.
Khalil Mack. Ugh.
That's
J.C.
so crazy.
Jackson. I mean,
Like they got Calvin Noy from the Patriots too. I mean they added
He's a great versatile addition.
they added depth, they added experience to that defense, and they added Khalil Mack, like we just said, Khalil Mack, Banjo. I mean they definitely added everything that they know they needed to produce a Super Bowl winning team. And so right now on paper they are a great team, but if these guys can play together and they can play really well together, I mean we're looking at it right here. I might make a bet on Chargers right now. Actually, we'll see. We'll see what the
who was their draft pick this year?
I just looked at it. It
The
is
guard from
That's right.
Boston College, I think.
Yep, that's right.
that is 100% right, Freddie.
So
Zion
that was
Johnson.
a pretty good. Yeah, so that was a good pick for them because I think that was one of their weaknesses on the offense was interior offensive line, and then they fixed that in the draft.
Yeah. So as we begin to close, any final statements that we have about these four teams?
At the end of the day, I feel like it's a coin flip of whoever wins the division.
I agree, and I think
It'll be
whoever.
better than the NFC West.
I think. Oh, they definitely are. But I think whoever does win this division, I mean, number 2 is going to be right behind them, and number 2 is going to be right in the playoffs, right with them. So
Right.
There's
I
no
think
room for error.
Yeah, no, I think 1 and 2 100% makes on the playoffs, and I also think that all of these games aren't going to be boring games. All these games are going to be televised on national television every week in this division.
Right.
Because they have to.
Right, because
You
every
should
game
definitely
is very important.
expect some flex games for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, if you're not a fan of these teams,
You better start being.
I think this will be a fun opportunity for people to experience these because this
I mean, especially the people who live on the
realistically,
East
I don't
Coast.
think I've seen a division this strong in a while.
I agree. I mean, what was one?
You could say the NFC West, like maybe a couple years ago,
Yeah.
Or even
but
last
like
year.
that's
Last
Not
year,
last
so
year. Yeah.
I'm saying before Russ got hurt, they were all looking like playoff teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anybody else before we get out of here?
Aside from most of us picking the Chargers, is that when you did your rankings, is that your team to win the division? Are you confident in your choices to win the division?
I'm 50-50 on the Chargers and the Chiefs.
I'm pretty confident in the Chiefs.
Dang.
I have
It's
faith in them.
50-50. It depends.
Because the Chiefs have been here before for multiple seasons.
Exactly.
So
this
I
third
feel
season
like-
now?
Right, exactly. So I mean, unless the Chargers exceed May's expectations, I think it goes to the Chiefs.
Chiefs low-key still underrated.
Yeah, so any final statements from y'all before we get out of here?
No, but I can say something that's off the topic. It's been nice having the boys back. You know, I didn't have to do all the talking. You know, I was just a pawn, just sitting there. You know, especially Freddie doing all the talking for me. So we good. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, I know, Elijah. I know you love like when everybody's here because you can like take the back seat instead of being one of the main talkers. But I'm happy everybody's back too. Gonna see if we can keep it going. NFC predictions start next week, so get ready. I don't even know what we're gonna start with. Who should we start with next week?
We should do the NFC South.
Our division? Should we start with our division?
Why not?
Why not? We'll start.
I will say get North out the way because North gonna be boring.
That's your division, isn't it?
That's not a
That's
boring
what it
one.
is.
I feel like the NFC South might be the most boring.
No, we won't have a.
Yeah.
It'll be boring.
That's why I said let's get those two out the way first.
It's us and
East is boring too. I forgot about East.
NFL. Wait, East. Oh yeah. The East is more competitive than. I think the East and the North.
East, it's competitive because they're all bad.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I mean that's all I got. I think this division will be the most exciting division to watch in football. This one, and I think Yeah, the NFC East because they're so bad.
I was gonna
But-
say NFC West might be the other good one.
I mean,
besides
AFC,
Seattle.
AFC West. I mean, the AFC.
Nah, Seahawks terrible.
I mean,
Who else is there?
I mean,
Cardinals, Niners, and Rams are all
I forgot
good.
about Niners.
They're
So yeah,
all
those
good.
are 3 teams. Yeah.
well, I mean, look, the AFC East is good. I mean, Buffalo, Miami, Patriots, and the Jets are some kids, but we don't know what they're gonna do. Then you have the AFC North with the Ravens, Bengals, Browns, and Steelers. So,
Zach Wilson is a dog.
yo,
I would say AFC
Big
would
dog.
be the best this year for NFL.
huh?
AFC gonna be the best this
Oh,
year
yeah.
for NFL.
We're gonna. Is there? I want to see a counter of like the NFC, the AFC versus the NFC like record against each other like last year, but because I know like the AFC's nuts.
Hold on.
Well, I was gonna
Hold on.
say the NFC realistically has
2.
maybe 3 or 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Is it NFC?
Yeah.
Yeah, NFC. Yeah, like 4 teams,
Well,
possibly 5.
Possibly 5, but that's it. There's like no other. There's no threshold.
NFC.
Yeah.
Are we
'cause
gonna
it's just
count
a huge
the
drop-off.
Cowboys as
Yeah.
one?
That's why I say they're the possibly 5.
I would say
I'd say probably 3.
Rams, Niners,
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
I don't got faith in Tampa Bay this year.
Packers.
But we'll wait for
4.
No, I
Packers.
can't do Packers. I can't.
that.
Who's over Packers?
Uh-oh.
Please. And don't say the Panthers because the Panthers still going to be bad.
No,
But you know
obviously
what?
not.
We're not going there.
Hey,
I'll wait
we're
till
not
the
doing
end of
this
the season
today.
begins.
We're not
I'll
doing
wait
this
till the
today.
season begins. Yeah, we're not. They
we'll
trying to
talk
get
about
me
it
there.
later.
So next
But
week,
you better be lucky we ain't playing y'all.
so I just decided what we're gonna do next week. Next week we're gonna do the NFC East with the Dallas Giants, Eagles, and Commanders, the newly named. But yeah, that's it because at this point we're just rambling. Thank y'all for listening. If you made it this far into the podcast, it's been a really good one having everybody back on and having everybody participating. So yeah, man. But thanks for listening. I have been your host, Davion.
I've been Eli.
Matt.
I'm Oronde.
Freddie left early. He's talking to his grandparents. So yeah, this has been the post game. Peace.